Now let me try to answer the big question on why microservices or what are the advantages with microservices. Microservices are independently deployable and they allow for more team autonomy. Each microservice can be deployed independently as needed, which enables continuous improvements and faster updates. Specific microservices can be assigned to a specific development teams, which allows them to focus only on one service or feature. This means team can work autonomously without worrying what's going on with the rest of the application. Microservices are independently scalable. As the demand for an app increases, in the monolithic application you had to scale the complete application. It is much easier to scale using microservices. You can increase resources to the most needed microservices rather than scaling an entire application. This also means that scaling is faster and often more cost-effective. Microservices reduce downtime through fault isolation. If a specific microservice fails, you can isolate that failure to a single service and prevent cascading failures without causing the whole application to crash. This fault isolation means that your critical application can stay up and running even when one of its component or module fails. Then if the code base is smaller, that will make the code easier to understand and simpler to maintain. Microservices typically have small code base, making them easier to deploy and maintain. It is also much easier to keep the code clean and for teams to be fully responsible for a specific service. So these are just some of the benefits that microservices brings to the table. Let me show you with an example here of a microservice architecture. We will have a front end and then we have three different services right here. One for the product catalog, next one is the shopping cart, and then we have the order processing microservice. Now let's say for some reason your order microservice fails, your product and shopping cart are still up and running. And if you have implemented asynchronous communication to process the orders, then whenever the order microservice comes back alive, then it will be able to pick those messages again and start the processing. If same was implemented in a monolithic application, then your order would never be placed, because if no response is received, the whole application will fail. But in microservice, if you have that message stored in Azure Bus, then whenever the order service comes back online, let's say after 5 hours, it can start reading the messages that have accumulated for the past 5 hours. Right now, if this is overwhelming, do not worry. When we implement all of our microservices and we introduce Azure Bus and advanced concepts, everything will make much more sense. I'm just giving you a 10,000 feet overview right now to introduce you to the advantages of microservices.